There's many benefits of worship, many benefits that we receive from worshiping. And today we're going to talk about the two benefits or the two things that worship does for you. Let's jump into it. My name is Michael. I help worship leaders from small to medium-sized churches grow spiritually and practically so that they can lead worship effectively. Now today, we're going to be talking about two things that worship does for you. But before we jump into it today, I want to give you something. I'm calling it my Worship Leader Toolkit. This toolkit contains 6 guides that's going to help you lead effective worship from start to finish. From song choices to rehearsals, to sound checks, to what to do before you even get to church. I mean, this thing contains everything that you need to lead effective worship. So go ahead and go to my website down below and get access to this toolkit and let it help you put systems and protocol in place to make sure that you continue to have effective worship sets. Now, like we said in the beginning, there is many benefits from worship, and worship is to God and it's for God. But when we begin to worship, we also can reap some of the benefits of our adoration and love to God. And today we're going to talk about 2 of those benefits that have changed my life. 2 of those benefits that I use all the time when I go into worship, and I experience them every time I go into worship. And the first one is clarity. We receive so much clarity when we can get into the presence of God. When everything, all of the distractions, all of the hoopla is gone and it's just me and God, I receive so much clarity. And we're going to look at a scripture. We're going to look at Psalms 17, 16 and 17. Okay, so Psalms 17, verses 16 and 17. And it says, "When I tried to understand all of this, it troubled me deeply. It was until I entered into the sanctuary of God, then I understood the final destiny." So it's in his presence that we receive so much clarity about what's going on in our lives. There's so many distractions. There's so many things that we are struggling with, so many things that we're trying to understand, but we won't receive any clarity until we press into the presence of God. Worship should be our response to our frustrations, to our distractions. It should be our innate response to everything that's happening around us. So the first benefit that you're going to receive from worship is clarity, peace of mind, clarity, understanding how things are going. So much clarity. The second benefit that you and I reap or receive every time we worship is worship actually helps us to come in agreement with what God is doing in our lives. It helps us come in agreement with the will of God for our life. And let's look at another scripture. This is Matthew 26 and 39. Matthew 26 and 39. And it says, going a little farther, and it's talking about Jesus here, going a little farther, he fell on his face to the ground and prayed, "My Father, if it is possible, may this cup be taken from me. Yet not as I will, but as you will." So in the scripture, we see he was going a little bit further in worship and he fell to his face. That means he got into a deep worship. He began to exalt Jesus. He began to magnify Jesus, and he began to worship and pray. And he was going through something, and we know what he was going through, about to be crucified. And he was saying, "Father, I'm having so much trouble with this process that you have me going through. I'm having so much trouble coming in agreement with what this thing I have to do, with this assignment that you've given me. God, I don't think I'm good enough to do it. I don't think I'm strong enough to do it. This is too big for me. Lord, I need help. I don't think I can do this." So then he go into worship. And then when he's in worship, as he's worshiping and praying, you see he changes how he's thinking about this situation. He says, "Look, Lord, not my will, but let your will be done." Worship helps change our viewpoint on the things that God has called us to do. Some of us are called to do some hard things, some troubling things. I mean, some things, some radical things. Like I know I'm called to do some radical things. And when you have to jump out there and do it, it's so hard. You're saying, God, am I qualified to do this? God, is this what you told me to do? Am I misinterpreting what you're saying? Did I miss the mark? God, everybody is saying I'm crazy. How do I do this? But when you begin to worship and magnify Jesus and glorify him in your quiet time, you can come in agreement. You find peace. You find a knowing that says, you know what? If this is what you're calling me to do, God, I'm going to go and get it. I'm going to go and do it. And the reason why is because worship connects our hearts to the Father's heart. It connects our heart to the Father's heart. And when our hearts are connected, it causes us to come in agreement with what he's doing. Worship is our response to life's trouble. It is our response. Anytime I'm having trouble carrying out an assignment, or I'm going through, or I'm frustrated, I'm angry, if I can just get in the presence of God, if I can just get in the glory of God, I will come in agreement with what he has said about me. I'm going to come in agreement with what he's telling me to do, and I'm going to have the peace and the boldness to walk it out. I'm telling you, worship has so many benefits for us, and it's just so mind-blowing that something that was created for God also gives us benefits. So I'm just want to encourage you, if you're having trouble in life, if you're frustrated with life, if something is happening, if God is telling you to do something that's bigger than you, I'm going to encourage you to get into the presence of God. I'm going to encourage you to do just like the scripture says, to close your door, to go behind closed doors and spend time in the presence and the power of God and watch clarity come, watch agreement comes, watch peace come, watch boldness come, watch you receive the benefits of getting into his presence. So again, those are the two benefits that we receive from worshiping: clarity, and then we can come in agreement with what God has told us to do or what he has said about us. Don't forget about this Worship Leader Toolkit. Again, it contains 6 guides to help you to lead effective worship from start to finish. You can go to my website at the link below, and you can get access to it right now. Peace.